Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, What the Beck. Today I'm doing a pride spread for June using these paint chips that I got for free from Home Depot. And I actually was able to cut these small enough that I have enough paint chip left that I could make a whole other week with it. So I'm looking forward to doing that later in the month. But for now, I thought I would just talk about my identity and how I relate to the LGBT community with a little bit of a tutorial at the end on how to use my pronouns, because some people have been asking that. So I personally identify as gender fluid, but I say non-binary because it is not male or female. I kind of, like wiggle around between the two and outside of there sometimes, outside of that binary. So I identify as gender fluid because my gender kind of changes depending on my situation and my surroundings, basically, and depending on how comfortable I am with the people that are there. And I generally say non-binary just because it's easier for people to grasp, because they understand that male and female is the binary and I'm something that's not that, without having to go into all that. But I figure if you're on this channel, you're interested in me, so I'll tell you a little bit more information saying that I'm gender fluid. So there are some gender fluid people that prefer to switch pronouns, and they can basically tell you that in a certain number of ways. Some people have colored jewelry, so like if they're wearing a blue bracelet, that means they want he, him pronouns. If they're wearing purple, that means they want they, them, so they can change it over time. I used to have a necklace that I made that could switch between the pronouns, but I found that people weren't really using it and I had to be more assertive. And I personally am comfortable just going by they, them all the time, so I use they, them. But I'm kind of comfortable if you say he. I'm less comfortable if you say she, because I don't really identify with the feminine side that much, so yeah. So the other part of the LGBT community, besides the gender stuff, is the sexuality stuff. And I knew from a pretty young age that I liked girls, and as someone who is assigned female at birth, I didn't really come to realize that was okay for a while. And eventually I did, and I do identify as pan-romantic, which means I can be pretty much attracted to anyone regardless of gender, just if they fit into my aesthetic type or something like that, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. So that's the romantic aspect. And the sexuality aspect, I identify as asexual spectrum, and asexual generally just means like the absence of a sexuality, or like none, so like you'd rather be doing other things. And the little subset of asexual that I identify with is demisexual, which basically means like maybe I'll do it, but probably not. It's kind of a little bit too much information, but just to explain that concept and have it, presented to you so you know it exists. I kind of joke around and say like I'm demi-pan, but it's not really worth anything, like it's useless because I'm committed to my boyfriend, so like we've been together for 5 years and I'm pretty sure we're not gonna break up anytime soon, so it's kind of like I'm part of the community, but I don't really act on it just because like I'm committed to my partner. But yeah, you can understand that. So the next thing I want to talk about is just some like LGBT history that I have in my life. So when I was in high school, in my junior year, I was in the GSA, and I actually showed up on the final meeting of the GSA of my sophomore year. And I brought everyone these rainbow bracelets that I crocheted, and it was kind of like a peace offering, like, hey, I know I didn't come to any of the meetings all here, but please love me. So I gave them all the bracelets, and it turned out that I made a lot of really good friends at that GSA, and we still meet up once in a while when we're all in town. Of course, now everyone's in college and stuff and moving around, so it's harder to get together, but when we do, it's really fun, and it's nice to have like a group to fall back on. Like a lot of the people in the place where I grew up were kind of bullies to me, and if not like an active bully, they were passive and just kind of let it happen. So to have people that I know like had my back was really good, like developmentally and for my mental health in high school. In the summer after I was in the GSA, my mom and I went to our first Pride, and it was in Maryland, and it was pretty far away. We had to drive like 45 minutes to get there, but my mom was really interested in helping me like figure out what I was and like be with people that would understand me. So we actually went to the drag show, and he was so happy to see all of those huge dresses and the fancy costumes that the drag queens made. And she is a seamstress, so she understands all the work that goes into that. And it was just really fun. We went around, we got rainbow ice cream, or well, it wasn't ice cream, it was like Italian ice or snow cone or whatever you call it. They put the syrup on top and it was rainbow and it was delicious. And we went around, and you know what? I actually really wanted to have a big flag, and I actually do have one now, but at the time when we went to Pride for the first time, we couldn't find anyone who was selling flags. And you think that would be like the biggest selling item at Pride would be the flag, right? Because people are going to put the flag on their back like a cape, or like swing it around, wear it around their neck or something. But no, they didn't have any. Okay, so back to the pronoun thing. I am generally going to be very forgiving if you mess up my pronouns. I really only get upset when people who I've known for a while have been messing them up, and even then I just give them a reminder. But so yeah, I use they, them pronouns, and if you need a little guide for that, just think about it as if you were saying a different pronoun and then replacing it with they, them, or themself, depending on the context, or there's the other one. So I'll give you an example now. So if you were talking about someone and you would have said he went to the store, then you would say they went to the store, and that's like a gender neutral way of doing it. If you were going to say she left her bag on the train, you would say they left their bag on the train. If he hurt himself, then they hurt themselves. And if you wanted to say I love her, you would say I love them. So yeah, it's really just about training yourself to switch out the pronouns, because it's one thing to make a mistake and fix it, it's another to make the mistake and then not work on it. So I advise just like practice writing sentences. If you have someone in your life who is non-binary or uses they, them pronouns, you can just practice by writing like a little story about them and like say talking about their adventures and stuff, and that would be a good exercise to help you solidify in your mind. And it does get easier over time. I know some people think that they can't fix the way they see someone or use different pronouns for them, but you really can. I know a lot of trans people, and I don't know, they kind of flock to me, I guess, but sometimes I felt like, oh really, I didn't even think that you could be trans, and then you're like, well, I'll always see them as male, but really you won't. You will learn to undo that and see them as what they really are. So yeah. That was my simple guide to using they, them pronouns. If you have any other questions relating to this, you can ask me them in the comments. And if we go back to Plannerland for a second, I really like how this spread turned out. I love how I put the little heart stickers on the side, which you're about to see me start doing. And I kind of Frankensteined the sticker to make it say love is love, because I'm never going to use 4 loves in a row, which was what the original sticker was, but you know. So yeah. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. You can comment and tell me about your gender and sexuality if you want. Even if you're cisgender and heterosexual, you're still cool. As long as you're respectful to other people, you're welcome on my channel. And feel free to enjoy my cat laying on my planner as always. So if you like the video, you can give it a thumbs up. And if you want to subscribe, that'll allow you to get notifications for every video that I upload. And you'll be able to see them when they first come out, which is fun because then you get to see like before anyone else. Okay, bye.